I like that hair.
Yeah, I hear defy gravity. But they let you know we on this planet.
Hello.
Right.
Steve hair used to
I'm in the
defy
house.
gravity. That's all.
Yeah.
It used to be, right.
I'm eating some potato chips. I ain't getting nothing. I just came back home. Oh, I'm getting ready to do my show. No, I haven't. Sorry, we're Sunday. That chicken in there. I was gonna put that in the oven. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
So you ready?
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Good evening. This is Keith Williams, Laura, and Steve. And we've been at this a mighty, mighty long time. This is the Courageous Hour.
Yes, sir.
And, we have talked about a lot of things on this journey of life and hope everybody's been educated about what we talk about on every Wednesday basis. But we got some good things happening, Courageous. We're making a transition right now to Wayne State. That's going to open up our opportunities and more importantly, open up the kids' opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be down in the hub. We're not going to be on the outskirts. So now we can attract more kids from Woodbridge and all those other places. But I feel good about this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're raising money during the pandemic, so all I can say, glory be to God, because he makes things like this possible.
Absolutely.
So also, as the director of recruiting for the sheriff's office, we got 200 jobs, folks. Come get these jobs. You see, the forces don't look like us and see what they're doing to us. Okay, so I'm saying, don't be a part of the problem, be part of the solution. Call me if you want to be part of the solution. 313-657-8962. Also, all you got to be, the qualifications is this: 18 years old, high school diploma, valid driver license, GED, a Michigan citizen upon hiring, and no felony. If you meet those criteria, call me, 313-657-8962. We got jobs. Then on May 22nd in my church's parking lot, I'm gonna hold a sheriff job fair at Greater Emmanuel from 10 to 1. Come show up, but you gotta have a mask on, because I'm not talking to you with all the masks, okay? And I'm gonna have a table, you can fill out the applications and turn them in, and I'll turn them in the next on Monday. So you got a chance. The DPD's got jobs. Michigan State got jobs. We need to infiltrate law enforcement, folks. It's money there. You're leaving money on the table. Okay. So other than that, what's up with you, Laura and Steve?
And Todd.
And Todd.
I like that background, Todd. I'm just excited and happy to be here with the strong brothers representing what's going down. I'm excited. I look forward to Wednesday nights. My plate is so full of mess that's going on in the real world that I look forward to these Wednesday nights, guys. I really do, because you know what? It's a different environment than what my normal grind is, but it keeps me rooted in reality. Let me just put it that way. It helps me to stay rooted in reality. If you're in our listening audience and you can hear my voice, I'd love to hear from you. Our phones haven't rang in quite some time. Tell me you're out there. Let me know that we are not just talking to the atmosphere. Are you in Radio Land listening to us today? We've got a couple topics that we believe will definitely resonate, given the environment that we live in today. We want you to participate. The number in the studio is 313-837-1340. 313-837-1340. Now, this segment and every segment is brought to you because we've got these fantastic sponsors who really truly believe in what it is we do at the Courageous Hour, at the Courageous Sports Academy. We want to say thank you to Continental Foods, Wayne State University, as Keith just got finished airing, that they are now our partner in all that we do on the academic and athletic side of things. We want to say thank you also to the healthcare space that we have. We have a
Hey,
fantastic
Joseph.
relationship with St. Joseph Mercy Hospital. We want to say thank you to DTE Foundation, Ralph Wilson Foundation, to TCF Bank, and all the rest. If you want to figure out how you can participate, now that we're at the epicenter in the city of Detroit where things actually happen, maybe you want to be on the Wayne State campus on those fields with us as we help to cultivate these young minds. Reach out to Keith. Here's his personal cell phone number. I don't know how many people actually put their personal cell phone numbers out in the eco, but I'm going to tell you his personal cell phone number is 313-215-4121. He's fairly modern, so if you don't want to call, send him a text. 313-215-4121. Tell him what it is you want. Pay attention to this. Every year, with the exception of the start of the pandemic, we have had Major League Scouts all across the US come and look at some of the children who are participating in the Courageous Sports Academy. Guess what? Your young man, or I'm assuming female, maybe it'll change, I don't know what to be today, have an opportunity to rub elbows with a Major League Scout. What does that look like year 3 and year 4 after that introduction? Do you know that one of the best athletic careers you could ever have is in baseball? I'm just
Laura,
simply
let me
trying
tell
to.
you this. We have a kid right now. We have a kid right now just signed. He's 2 years ago. He signed with the Los Angeles Angels. His name is Warner Blakely. He worked out of my building, and now he's really doing some fine things with the Los Angeles and signing a nice contract.
Nice. And even if they don't make it to Major League, they might go to the minor for a little bit. Opportunities prevail. They absolutely do exist. You need to figure out how to participate, how to get in. So I am now going to pass the baton to Mr. Stephen Elam because he needs to tell us about his inspirational moment.
All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's definitely the team that we've assimilated on these calls. Keith, you're right. We've been doing this for some years. And as I listen to NPR News, I think about just how many different topics that we have covered. And we are just as important as NPR News. So one of the things I want to challenge Keith, and as we get the board meetings together, we need to do something like that, like a telethon, similar to what they do to help raise funds and just bring awareness, yes, to what Courageous Sports Academy is doing, but what Courageous Hour is doing and how many opportunities that we bring to the metropolitan Detroit area. We got our panelists come in from Florida A&M. We got Ty down in Louisiana. So we're getting a vast variety of expertise, but different viewpoints from across the country, especially during this time when literally, I want to say, as Black men, we being hunted. We've been hunted.
Jesus.
It's just now able to be recorded. And even with the recordings, we still do not receive the justice or the accountability that is held upon us in swift judgment when it's our turn. We get to judge the jury, and the conviction happen on a regular call when you make the call, in which we've seen in the video in Ohio. Then now we have other individuals coming forward. But with this inspiration, my biggest goal is to say, if you are listening to this, you have been blessed with a present. And that present is that you're alive here during this COVID season, because nobody expected any of this. This is April 28th, and we are still here. And know that you have a purpose. So as you walk on your journey, make sure you uplift someone, take the time to tell somebody you love them. If you can, give them flowers now, because in this day and age, we see tomorrow, not even tomorrow, the next hour is not
Jesus.
promised. So Eric Thomas had, like, I'm part of this program, just helping myself get better. And I forgot my screen is blurred, but what it says is it's the time is running out on you. It's execution time. We all do what we need to do, because I'm pretty sure as my listening audience, you're listening, somebody within your circle or in your family is waiting on you to perfect your greatness. For some strange reason, we put it off. We say, I can do it tomorrow, or it's just not right. But what we don't realize is, if God gave it to you in a vision, in a dream, if he gave it to you through passing, he gave it to you. And then therefore you must bring it to fruition. So with inspiration, we want to definitely highlight all of the young people out here who are standing fast on that they are God's children. And my panelists want to say, I love you, and I really appreciate us joining every week, because we all we got. And I'm agreeing with Laura. Sometimes the conversations before 6:30, they really not conversations, because I can tell some folks ain't listening. But I really enjoy coming on here and getting a viewpoint and learning from you guys. Been doing it for almost 7 years. I mean, knocking this thing out the park. And I really so, it's 6:42. Just know that you are in the present, and that is your present.
That's all right now.
Okay, Laura. So, Todd, Linda, Steve, Laura. So
I didn't see Linda. I'm sorry.
Huh?
I said I didn't see Linda on. I had my screen on different.
So,
hey, Linda.
So you, Steve, and your guys want to do educational thing all next month. So that's a good thing. But I want to start it off like this. Todd, I'm gonna come to you first, because you the Southerner. Okay, has W.D. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Carter G. Woodson, and all those folks that lend a helping hand in their philosophy, was it a failure, or has it created Black wealth in perpetuity for Black folks? Were their philosophy a failure, and it was the mission? I know the mission was to educate and do all those things, but was it really successful in what we're trying to do as a Black race?
I don't think you can look at it as a failure. I mean, what Booker T did at Tuskegee is still going on today. One of my good friends here in Baton Rouge, their daughter is a successful veterinarian because of an education from Tuskegee Institute. And so that's just my own personal touch on the work of Booker T. Washington. And, George Washington Carver was a part of the Booker T. Learning tree. And he left us so many things that are still transformative today from his work, not just with a peanut, but across a lot of disciplines that you have to respect and appreciate what Booker T built. The other thing Booker T built that he doesn't get the credit for is the Rosenwald schools. And I told you guys, we have one at the River Road African American Museum in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. And Booker T and Julius Rosenwald built about 5,000 of those throughout the South. And the reality is, the fruit of that labor became the seeds and the foot soldiers of the civil rights movement for African Americans, for America. Because let's be honest, civil rights movement makes America better. White folks get better, Hispanic folk get better, everybody gets better because of the hard work and hard fought battles that African Americans have laid in these American streets. So to your question, Keith, that's on the Booker T side. On the W.E.B. Du Bois side, he was a fraternity brother of mine. He was a thinker. He was an elitist, and not in a negative way, I don't think. I just think that, the Black community is not a monolith. We are, we are just in this phone call, Laura's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. Keith, you are a law enforcement officer and an entrepreneur and a public servant. Steve is an educator. Rabia is an educator. Linda, I don't know what Linda is. Linda, what are you?
An educator, entrepreneur.
Aha. Linda is an educator, entrepreneur, and all around business.
There we go. So there we go. You know, that's, and I don't know who WEXLCTRL is.
That's the radio station.
Okay. But you know, just in our little 6 windows here, we are a variety of people. So we can't say, you know, that this way was better from the W.B. Du Bois or this way was better from the Booker T. You know, Booker T ran with Madam C.J. Walker. She was a supporter of Booker T and funded his vision and his educational missions. And so, you know, he was a sharp guy and spent a fair amount of time with entrepreneurs to further his educational endeavors. So with all that said, Keith, I think they have really left a good legacy for us. And I think we have to appreciate all the efforts, both good and bad, because, you know, in this America, in this world, a lot of times you got to have that trial and error, i.e. Sunday, I was at a barbecue and somebody gave me some Skin So Soft to put on for mosquitoes. Well, Skin So Soft, I think, is initially like a lotion, isn't it, lady? But some kind of way, it became a mosquito repellent.
That's right.
People use it. So, you know, you got to have some trials and errors. I believe both Booker T and W.E.B. Du Bois both had a lot of success with what they left for us.
So Steve and Laura and Linda, well, why
And Rabia. And Rabia.
And Rabia, so why are we languishing in poverty? Why are we still waiting for the man that don't look like us to take care of us?
Maybe.
Go ahead, Laura.
Maybe that's it. We're waiting for someone to take care of us. You know, I guess one of my favorite lines was always from James Brown. James Brown had a little record. I don't want nobody to give me nothing.
Just get out my way.
And I think some of our always been is we wanted that door to be opened, and the problem has been that door gets open and then they slam it shut. When they find out that even with, and I use the term they loosely, but when it's found out that we have managed to succeed or survive in spite of all of the obstacles that get thrown at us, so there really is a group who can't handle the fact that they can't be mediocre. Okay, there's a desire that, hey, you can be a mediocre person and you're still gonna make it. No, you can't. If I have to be excellent, so do you. And I think the whole problem is that when we show Black excellence, white folks got issues. I'm gonna put it out there, because that means that they have to come up with excellence, and there are too many who feel that it's okay to be mediocre simply because I'm not of color. What do you mean that I can't just be here and get that?
But see, this is the deal. To me, I was listening to some brothers yesterday and some Black folk talking about his daughter got a 3.5 and all that other stuff. I said, that don't amount to nothing if it can't turn into wealth. Okay, now you got Arabs coming into our community, taking over the cannabis business. Listen to this, Todd and Steve and you guys. Last year,
Chauvinistic fella. And you guys, Todd and Steve, and then the rest of y'all.
No, I said all of you, Laura and all of y'all.
Laura.
Whatever.
Laura, I'm gonna put this to you as a businesswoman. As a businesswoman, Jew, Linda and Rabia. Last year, there was a $1 billion gross of marijuana cannabis in the state of Michigan. How much did Black folks get? about 0.2%.
He likes you.
Yeah, it's nothing. Okay, they come in our community and get all the economic infrastructure, but the Negro's still talking about my child got a 3.5 in such and such.
But one has nothing to do with the other, Keith.
It's a mindset, Laura.
No.
Well,
I'm gonna push back on that. We need education, Keith.
You got it. Okay,
We need education. We must educate our 1 second top. We must educate ourselves so that we can understand the rules of engagement. But let's be clear. The train tracks are not moving in the same direction, nor are the resources readily available for us to participate like any other nationality who chooses to. Education is our equalizer. Okay, somebody else. Robbie, like, I gotta go next.
So, all right. So, education is not just a 2, 4, or plus degree, right? So you have one that said we need to go to college, we need to get educated. The other one said we need to learn a trade and have our own businesses. That's still an education. It's a different type of education, right? What I see is an issue is multifold, but one is somebody did a very good sales job on the degree piece.
Yes.
Somebody did a very good sales job on that. And I got a PhD, so I'm certainly not going to knock it, right? It has done me well. But back to what Keith said, you can have a 3.5, but if you don't have any ingenuity behind that, it means nothing, right? Okay, so now how do you get that ingenuity? We don't have, it's not just about the infrastructures, the policies, the procedures, the institutional racism. It's not just that, because we had that back in the day, but some of us still achieve, right? I think one of the basic problems is we don't have enough people, institutions, whatever, that can show people what to do with whatever education they have. That's one thing. Another thing is when you look at how we became so dependent on the man, right? You can go all the way back to when welfare, just look at welfare. That was when they broke up the family. That was the beginning of breaking up the family structure, right? And the more babies you had, the more
money you make.
Right? And as long as there wasn't a man in the house, you could get the money, further perpetuating the
demise of the family, the Black family, right?
And so, and I see it going on right now. If they get more money not working from the man, if they get more money not working, why
stimulus check?
Work?
Stimulus checks?
Right, the stimulus check, whatever. And I'm not knocking that. So whoever's listening, I'm not, right, you need to do what you need to do. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of people out here that's making more money with the stimulus checks and the extra money and unemployment. They don't have any incentive to go back to work.
Which meant they were at the bottom anyway, because of a stimulus check and a little couple extra pennies keep you from going back to work. You were on the bottom rung anyway.
Correct, but what I'm talking about, the mentality. Right? There's no incentive to do better.
But you know,
it on the system.
Wait, Linda. Wait, Linda.
You know, here's the thing.
Wait, Linda. Let Ty get in. He was very gentlemanly. He was gentlemanly, like
thank you, Laura. You know, I'm gonna drop out because we got too many smart people on this phone call now. Everybody got their stuff to say, but I just really want to say from a Southerner's perspective, you know, Keith, on what you were talking about, education was actually the way out of the fields for Southerners. I don't know about Northerners, but for Southerners, everybody down here was a sharecropper, an ex-slave, and everything was, we worked the land, we did the fields. And so for so many African Americans in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the hope was for your child to get an education so that you could possibly become white collar, an educator, maybe a lawyer, maybe a doctor, maybe, a business person. What we failed was, once we got enough of us out of the agrarian agricultural sector and into education, we didn't really push the children to become business owners. We kept saying, go get your education, go get your education. And they trick bagged us with, you could get that education, but it still might only be an $18,000 a year job. You get that education, but only, $28,000, and you still basically in poverty. It's
And then you have all that student debt.
All that debt.
with all the, so for me, living in Baton Rouge, a capital city, medical complex, industrial complex, all of that, you got a lot of people here who got that education and they got six-figure salaries, but they have no entrepreneurial mindset. So they ain't starting no businesses. They just chilling on their $100,000.
The umbilical cord is still connected, right?
And they're doing okay. They got the house they want, the vacations they want, the 2-3 cars they want, their kids getting educated, but they're not doing what Keith doing, buying a building and trying to do some programs or create some things. They're not doing what Robbie is doing, becoming a consultant beyond her job at Florida A&M. Laura, what you do, it's really a strange thing that most other nationalities realize that business was the way out of poverty.
Yeah,
and yet
initially.
we still talk about education. We've got to get our kids to think, start a business, go to school.
Yes, that's
Still
right.
believe education is the way out for us, but you got to get an education, work somewhere, learn a little form, function, policy, but then get your own dream and start a business, because Donald Trump showed what's the most important to white America. And who you think he gave all of that $2 trillion to? Business owners.
And
Who you
tax
think
cuts.
he gives
That's
tax
right.
breaks to?
That's right.
Business owners.
And
So
they are the real leaders of community. Business owners are.
The auto industry kind of played a
negative role too.
an inhibiting role.
Yes, ma'am.
For our people in the North.
False hope.
Yeah.
Or short term.
But Laura, just think about this. We try to get McDonald's restaurant franchise. They came into our country, came to Detroit, opened one party store, got it down to a science. Now you have Mike George. That Mike George was the dairy guy, he was the eggs guy, the milk guy, the cheese guy. He supplied all of them. And so now they're quadrupling our communities. They went from from stores to liquor stores to gas stations to now owning all the cannabis in the city.
And hotels. And hotels. Let Steve in, y'all. He ain't got a chance to say nothing.
So definitely what Keith is talking about, Keith, we got to recognize everything you just mentioned. They were giving legal money to start everything.
Yep.
They were giving funds, tax breaks, whatever we want to call it, incentives. Even it's crazy because as you're mentioning, well, you got to recognize everything we talked about. See, it was illegal for the free slave to even have a job. So then therefore, let me lock you back up because now you are a vagrant. Okay, so now the migration north happens, and exactly what we said, the auto industry allowed people to think that they were going to escape poverty, but what it did was put them right back into it because now we had that mindset. And I'm agreeing with Robbie has said, we were sold in the whole selling of get a degree, get a degree, get a degree. Now, mind you, you have trade skills, which is still school. You have entrepreneurship classes, things of that nature. But folks were never given the opportunity to go get that bank loan, to go, all of this is fairly new, that even we had this opportunity to be talking with all of us online. We haven't been cut off.
Yep.
Because
Steve, let's do the station ID break and then come right back.
Is he there? You gonna run it? Well, maybe they didn't cut us off already.
Bill is
I have
paid.
a perspective for you.
Hey, the bill has been paid, so.
Oh, well, there we go. Let's keep talking. All right.
Hey.
So in that aspect, so what I'm thinking about is just what, man, we said so much. All of those guys were actually, everybody was shining their gift. We can't say that one person was right or wrong. That was their gift. So in that aspect, we were given examples. We were supposed to take those examples and expand them further, not just study and say, well, this is the right way to go. Nah, well, this is the right way to go until you take it to the next level. And you're a good example of that, Keith. Imagine, so you see how you started. You was consistent about running the programs, being in deficit, working, you was worried about a water bill. I got to find a way. I'm going to figure out a way to make this thing work. Hey, God brought it to you because you kept pushing. It's the people who sometimes get in that predicament and they quit. They say, oh, this is only as far as I can go. But your whole time you've been premonitioning this thing for the last 7 years. Hey, somebody gonna do it. Somebody gonna do it. So as now people see, okay, it is some legitimacy in what Keith Williams is talking about in his programs. And look, they got the scouts coming in. So then you attract the right kind of person who is right for you at the right time. And voila, here's Wayne State, who is at the pinnacle place of the city of Detroit where all the renovation is happening, and to have the opportunity to then now shed light now to bring in more African-American and city of Detroit students, because Wayne State is also known there. They can get the Detroit kids in, they just don't graduate at high numbers. So now it's going to be, now it's going to be the next step with, let's see what Courageous can help do to help these kids matriculate through, or like what you're doing, being an entrepreneur. Because at every step, last time I checked, you always mention you got jobs, but you also let them know, hey, I got a t-shirt business. We got this going on. You letting everybody know what you got going on top of your work schedule. So,
and let's call it a business and not a hustle.
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, we doing it, brother.
Sometimes we denigrate the business by calling it a hustle. But what I was going to say also is, and when we talk about other groups, the other thing they do, as you said, Mike George built that line of being able to supply the businesses. I know of businesses that were owned by our people, but they didn't go past the first generation.
Yes.
Okay, the owner did not train nor give the expectation to their second generation side of the funeral business, but there are some funeral homes that didn't do it either. At the second generation is going to keep this business going.
Well, that's like mine. He's the heir to Hot Sam's and he don't want it.
What?
You don't want it.
Well, wait. Let's be clear.
My hand.
let's be clear, because we need to pay attention to some things. We don't have the same train tracks. Our resources, our buying power, and all the retained assets are not quite the same. The tax benefits are not quite the same. Someone said to me the other day, and I hate to say this in a public space, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. There are slim margins in retail. There are really slim margins in retail.
There are.
You just gotta have it. You gotta have it. But Hot Sam's got it. I'm just speaking from my experience.
Look, Steve. It is. Hot Sam's has it for whose population? The millennials? Come on.
They're gonna wish they had it did it.
If we can change the business mind, if we can change the model, like Rabia, here's what Rabia said that we are not paying attention to. Even though we want to have equalization of assets and opportunities, we still don't have enough forefathers who've had great success before us to totally understand how to build the train of legacy.
But
if our networks and our access don't give us what we have, Keith, most people will look at you and be like, how he get all that? It's about your network. Your network is your net worth. And I've been saying it for 10 years. Your network is your network. You have what you have because you know how to play the game. You know where the dead bodies are buried. You know who the change makers are. You cannot ask the average person to get in there and do that.
Let me say this to you. Go ahead.
With knowing that. I was going to say, and there's nothing wrong with knowing that. There's nothing wrong with having a network. There's nothing wrong with talking about business, you know, because in some circles, talking about business and talking about money is a dirty word.
That's right.
But
Okay.
y'all, in our community, the difference is Keith might be good, I might be good, Laura might be good, but all it takes is one health event to take away all of our gains, and our children don't receive that. And where we've been working and saving and scrimping and trying to, you know, make sure that our kids have something when we close our eyes, God forbid a health event wipes all of those gains out, or the tax man comes and grabs 40% of it, and it's just a meager start for them versus something that was really healthy in by design. And so we got to figure out how to triple that number that we leave our children so they can truly have that opportunity.
Key man insurance is one of the first things I try to teach and preach to
Yep.
my entrepreneurs. Key man insurance. You need to be in a position where you can carry the balance and the burden. Nobody's going to jump in when, first off, they're uncomfortable, don't have the same networks or collateral, they don't fully understand all the engagements, and then you want me to make this thing do what you did, and you knew where everything was. That's insane. You got to have
But
key
you
man
know,
insurance.
Laura, I just truly believe this: without vision, the people perish.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you a case in point. When I was a county commissioner, I had a little brother who was not mentally, but he had other skill sets. You know, he could fix cars. So I created a landscaping business. I had 72 schools I was cutting Detroit public schools. A guy introduced me to the business, and I was trying to do that for my family. But this is what happened.
That's a
One
network,
day-
Keith. Access to a network,
Hold on,
right?
but
Somebody
this what
showed you,
happened.
you brought your brother in.
Hold on, this is what happened. My son was driving down the street on Auburn Street, and he saw this building, and he started talking to the guy. And the guy said, my brother owns a building, but my brother is doing a little vacation. So
Away.
we hooked it up. So he says, do you have $10,000? We can do a land contract. I was told not to buy the building. I was told to leave it alone. I stuck with it, and guess what? You don't know how the market changes can bring some rewards to you. We got to have a vision. We got to have a belief system. And lastly, the woman in the oil, that story about the Bible, the oil,
Faithful.
she had to pay ransom. And what did she do? She went in there and found she had oil in that house. And what she do? She had so much oil, she had enough to pay off the
She
bill
exercised
collector.
faith. That's what she did first.
Yes. So the bottom line, we have talents in our house, but we don't know how to put our talents together and put money with those talents so we can make something out of it. Think about this. What we're doing right now can go viral. It could go nationally, and we can create our own stuff right now.
But here's what I need you to recognize, Keith. Let's just be clear. And I'm going to say this until the cows come home. My trajectory is only as great as my vision. And my vision is only as great as the person who set the opportunity in front of me. I can dream and dream and dream, but guess what? If I've never left the city of Detroit or never left Bewick, I may not totally understand this engagement that you're talking about. You, Keith, coming from Homer Street, are a privileged Black man at this point. You may keep trying to talk about your origin, but your origin is much like Booker T. Washington. Let's just be clear. You are not the sharecropper son.
Right.
You are in a different position. So when you try to pontificate around how we do and how we have and all the rest of it, remember, you walk in the room with the thought leaders and the decision makers, and nobody is going, who is he? That's a different position. That's a very different position.
I've been there, Laura, so I can share my
said you started at
experience.
Homer Street, but blood, let me tell you, your situation ain't like the average person who got to scrimp and scrape to get where they're trying to go.
I ain't scrimping and scraping.
You not. Stop playing.
Stop
playing.
We grew up together. Our scrimping and scraping wasn't like the scrimp and scrape on Mac and Bewick. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop playing. What we need is that conversation you talked about earlier about reparations. I don't know what that is.
Let's segue into reparations.
What is
Okay,
a reparation?
it
Slavery
means
reparation,
repair.
education reparation, economic reparation? What reparation you gonna
Hold
give?
on. The reparations that Todd and Linda, the reparations I'm trying to put on the ballot in for November, it's about local reparations. The young lady out of Evanston, Illinois, Robin Ruth Simmons, who's my friend, she went in there, a population of $75,000. She took the money, she got reparation. What reparation means is repair for past historical harm that has happened to Black folks. And what she done, the money's now going towards cash payments, going towards housing, going towards education. Okay, so federal is a different thing. That's Sheila Jackson and all them.
Yeah.
John Conyers is the father of reparations.
The original.
He's original, okay, and reparations Ray. Okay, Detroit was the original of it, but the bottom line is, how do we get paid back for what has been done to us from an economic? Because when you think when it's all said and done, we lost a lot of wealth through the journey of life.
How do you pin it down, Steve? Where's the starting point? From the farm? From 1865? Where's the starting point? What's the reparation? Is it education, housing, or economics? I need to understand it.
It should be money. I think
I definitely think it should be
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
opportunity. Oh, I'm sorry, Rabia. I'll let you go ahead because look, you the college professor.
No.
But no, you're gonna help enlighten this next group because they're the next ones to actually get into the workforce, the business world, and where we're at. So right now, as I see, the 20-year-old, the one who took out the student loan, who got a little bit of a refund, and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. These are the opportunities and conversations that they need to, like you're in that cusp, and that's your audience. So it's more important because the long term is going to start with them. Is this group right now who has an opportunity to affect what comes behind them? Because Keith's group left it to us. My group decided, we're going to do the rap thing, then we're going to turn it into gangster rap. We're going to turn it into everything where we got right now. And we keep missing out on these opportunities, just like you said, like the marijuana, and the next thing is literally going to be electric technology, because gasoline, cars, things of this nature, those things are basically what they just showed everybody. You can work from home.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
You can be educated from home. You're already doing your banking without it's already a cashless society. So you got that card in your pocket and now we got these apps. So literally it's cashless. So now it's coming to, what is this generation that's at FAMU going to step out and be on the forefront? And I remember last week she talked about how many of them, they're going the entrepreneur route because they see, why get this degree and then go work for somebody when I can get this degree and start and I can employ. And even if employment means I'm gonna employ my family first, which that's where it should be. Your wife and your kids. That's what your kids supposed to be doing. That's what they were on the sharecropping piece. You had them kids to work the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And the piece that's happened, what I see that we've done is we went ahead, like Keith would always say, see, I got my piece of the pie, my little slice, because that's all it really is a small slice. I took that and I went on the other side of the street, and now I'm looking back at my cousins and them talking about, you better hurry up and get yours, instead of extending my arm saying, let's get this business together, let's work it together, and let's pass it down to our grandkids.
I think, guys, that when I hear reparations, I cringe a bit, because what's the starting point? And who is the population that gets to participate? I read a book 2 years ago that Charlie LaDuff said he did one of those Ancestor.com and found out he's got some African-American blood in him. Does he get some too?
Already benefit.
What's
he already got his reparation.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be $1 amount.
I don't either.
I think it should. I think it needs to address the institutional racism piece, the policies, the procedures, the processes, the redlining. It needs to address all of that. You address all of that, it's going to equate to more economic.
Even the playing field.
Yep.
Rabia, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say equity.
Mhm.
This is, from what I've learned, it's all, from what I learned doing my hit background on this, everybody's been harmed by home ownership. Everybody been affected by that. From Baton Rouge all the way up to Michigan, we've been always marginalized. They had mortgages when we couldn't get mortgages. Look how much wealth that they took from us from home ownership.
That
I
alone.
think,
That alone.
and education too, though, guys.
It
What
was
about
written into the
education?
law. It was part of the law.
Mhm.
Yes.
It was legal. See, it was illegal. It was legal to have slaves. It was legal to discriminate. It was legal, and technically it still is, because now they're just calling it something else. And the aspiration that we need to shoot for is holding people accountable. I think I'm agreeing with Robbie. It doesn't have to be a dollar amount. Just let me hold the right people accountable. They're going to have to open up opportunities, and now I can use my excellence to get in.
I
And
think
it's-
it needs to be dollars and some attack on the institutional racism stuff, because see, here's my take on it. If you give African Americans a certain dollar amount, all it's going to do is stimulate the economy. Those of us who have some sense are going to invest it and do the positive things with it.
Mhm.
And those of us who don't, all we're going to do is buy some Jordans.
We're gonna make it to Nike. That's right. Nike, here I come.
We're gonna buy some purses. We're gonna go to the crab restaurants, and we're gonna stimulate the economy.
And smoke it.
So I feel like, I need my money, and then my sister down the street, she need her money. And so at the same time, the DOJ has to help us attack this systemic racism thing, because a lot of what's happened to us is so deep and so ingrained that every time we turn around, you see a law that's racist. Like right now, y'all were talking about some racist stuff in the past. They got voter suppression laws all over the country.
Right now.
Racist. That's
Right now.
systemic
Right now.
racism happening in 2021. It's sickening. I'm at a point in my life at 54. I'm sick of seeing folks make laws that they know
Intentional.
are harmful from the word go, and yet you voted for it, and yet you put it out there, and yet you actually stand up and support it. That's the thing that we need to go after. That's the thing that needs to unite us, and that's the part that's scary, because in a educated society as rich as America, it seems like our neighbors, our legislators, they could stop that stem of hate that's coming from all of these state houses and these legislators. But in Florida, they passed that thing. And it's like, where is everybody who's supposed to be against that kind of stuff? And so for me, give me my change, and then let's also go ahead and work on the systemic stuff at the same time, because let's be honest, if you got some money, you could do some positive in your community.
You know what the whole thing is in a nutshell to me, one seamless system. I think we have never sat down the judges, the politicians, everything that forms this perfect union, and come up with a strategy where we can, fight back those laws that hurts us, but also pool our resources to create an economic infrastructure that everybody can participate in. So that's why the divide and conquer come into fruition. There's always the man know how to get to one or two of us.
Every time.
Every time he knows how to get to one or two of us. Wouldn't you agree with that, Linda?
Well, divide and conquer is the name of the game. If you think about every rebellion that failed, it's because someone thought that they could gain by telling on somebody, or you told the wrong person.
Yeah. Internal explosion. That's right. Internal implosion.
Yeah, we are really afraid to trust each other. It's something you have to do if you want your businesses to grow. How many times have I heard, well, I don't go to a Black doctor because this one Black doctor did something. I said, but you live in Detroit. There's one Black doctor for everything. So when I said, so I turned it around. So I said, okay, so when that white doctor did something, you went to another white doctor, right?
Right.
Well, yeah. I said, what's the difference?
What's the term for that? We learned that in some of our education, guys. Tell me what the term there's a term for that mental programming, right? It's not self-hate, but it's an identity crisis. When you see somebody
Right.
and they do something, they look like you, then all of a sudden you just assume their inferiority because it's a self-identity thing.
It's called
and how about you go to
negroology.
that
It's
business
negroology.
and tell-
Negro, that's not it. What?
You know, what if you go to that business and say, and I have been known to do this, if you want to keep my business, you need to do A, B, C, D, and E. I've told, oh, okay, I should say, I have told bars, if you want me to come here, you need to have something I drink.
How about you give me a receipt? What do you mean nobody wants a receipt but me?
Hold on.
Is this a business or what?
Hey, y'all walk,
Can I
hey,
have a
Steve, y'all walk into an Arab store. He never give y'all a receipt.
Are you
See,
crazy?
y'all be-
Are you
y'all be
nuts?
playing day. Hold
Are
on.
you
y'all
nuts?
be-
I make
hold
sure
on.
they give me
Hold
a
on,
receipt
hold
and a
on.
bag.
Y'all come up with this double standards all the time.
No.
One for negroology and one for whiteology, okay?
Oh, no,
Whiteology is right,
no,
and
no.
negroology,
No,
everything in
no.
negroology is bad.
There are some
Y'all need
things
to clean
that I
up
stand.
too.
You're a hot
If I
mess.
want a receipt, I want a receipt.
And I want a bag.
And I want my penny.
And
I want my penny. You know,
all my change. Give it to me.
So I know just as everything, I'm agreeing. So not that I don't want money. I would say let me be tax-free for the next 10 years. Let me see what
Steve Elam, you just gave the reparation for the whole next decade. We all
I like
want to be
that,
taxed.
Steve.
That's right.
Like that.
This is
Tax
what
forgiveness.
Arabs get. You know, like he was explaining. See, they come over here from Iraq. You know, they're coming from Iraq. They're coming from, and what's funny is I paid attention to the history lesson. There is no such thing as the Middle East. You know, the Suez Canal was created, so you can't put Middle East without it being the middle. So where's the middle? So just Africa, Northern Africa.
Yeah.
So come on, and then in the process, they're given the funds to start.
Legal tender.
What I paid attention to is just I've been in education a long time. And somebody posted this the other day. Oh my goodness, they have all these Detroit public school buildings for sale. And maybe we should think about getting a public school building. And I pointed out to them, I said, let me help you understand. The buildings are contaminated, asbestos, lead, field, and sitting on contaminated land.
That's why they're giving them away.
That's why that's why they're giving them away. And that's why they did. If it's not a school in there, they closed it for a reason. It wasn't just because this kids in every neighborhood. It becomes now a hazard. And in that aspect, what you look at, you haven't, like is what Keith said. We fighting each other for the wrong reasons.
Yes, sir.
Of thinking we're going to get ahead. We are a communal people. We are communal to the core. And what we're faced with is this ideology of individualism, which is the European way of thought. And in our process, you see all these successful places, the colleges were created, Black colleges were created because we couldn't go
participate. That's right.
Can I share something with y'all about the abandoned buildings? I learned last year, whoever buys those buildings and redevelop them, they get a $4 million tax credit.
Hey, it's gonna cost you $4 million because it's
hold on, Steve. You can get demolition money and all that other money,
light tech credits, all kind of great things,
all that kind of stuff. But you can do a development. Your deal can wind up to be $8 million. You could create housing, townhouses, and all that stuff on that vacant land.
And that's so this is time.
Knowledge and power again, access.
And the other piece is just you got to be able to afford to get into the room to be in that game.
Come on now.
So you'll go bankrupt to get into the game. And so like for instance, when we were trying to buy a house when we first moved home, certain realtors told us, don't go here, don't go here. Don't be enthused like they actually talked about Harbor Town. Do not be enthused by what Harbor Town, because the land it sits on
Mhm.
is contaminated.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
And what they, and you know how they say it takes 30 to 40 years, and now we into the 50th year. They don't know. But the
Mhm.
aspect is, I totally agree with you, Keith. But also, when we get our pool our money together, by the time things happen, the legislators have already. Is Michigan is one of the most corrupt things. You know, as I listen to NPR, what they pointed out is state legislators can leave becoming a state legislator and then go work for the lobbying firm immediately, like the next day.
Like DC, it's a mini DC.
It's a mini DC. And
Mhm.
what they're known for doing here is you be a legislator for 2 to 3 years, you go work for the lobbying firm, and it's the kickbacks that happen when they are able to pass these bills and write these laws.
And,
Look,
and
look,
that's
look.
only gotten better since we passed term limits.
Hey,
Oh my
listen,
God.
Linda, if you
I-
go to the Small Business Association
I
of
don't-
Michigan, go
Hold
to the
on.
Small Business Association of Michigan and look at the leadership team. You will find your former lieutenant governor, Kelly, sitting right up in there. You'll find the former head of the Republican Party,
Sitting up in there.
chillaxing right. I'm like, so yeah. Chillaxing.
Let me share this with you. I'm the only one on this line that's been elected to office.
All right.
And I didn't see, hold on, and I didn't see the good, the bad, and indifferent.
Mm.
You'll go to jail for kickbacks. You will go to jail, quid pro quo.
Look,
You
look,
can't
you're
do
right. We gonna go to jail for kickbacks.
Hold on.
Every black person on this
Hold
call
on.
gonna
For
go
sure,
to
though, is what he's talking about.
public
Like,
school.
oops.
Every
Steve.
black person on this call gonna go to jail. You exactly
Steve,
right.
Steve,
A white
Steve,
person is
Steve,
gonna get the probation.
Steve, I have signed, when I was a county commissioner, I have signed a $35 million contract. It's your mindset, Steve. If you come with criminal intent, hold on, let me finish. If you come with criminal intent, hold on. I got numb to it. All the money I was signing, I wasn't going to jail. It's the mindset, Steve.
I understand that. Once again, Keith, you're a black man.
Hold on.
Degrees of
Steve,
separation, Keith. Degrees of separation.
Steve, look at this. Look at all those principals was taking $2,000, $20,000. They weren't getting no money.
Nah, look,
It's
they
the
was
mindset.
it's the mindset, but who are and now we're gonna run this down. And who went to jail with them?
Mm-hmm.
The guy that orchestrated the whole deal.
How much time did he do?
I don't know.
T19. That's all I got to say.
Well, but you know, the sad thing about it,
Everybody else did
I
the
look at
time.
that and I know this sounds wrong, but I'm like, you put your reputation and your career
And your
on the
family.
line.
And your family.
Penance. Right. And your family for a penance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
God, we got 30 seconds. Dang. Wind it down, Keith.
God be the glory. This was an interesting conversation. I want to continue this next week. This is a good conversation.
It's education next week.
Well, you know,
this is education.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And a few things. Third grade reading law goes into effect.
Yeah, God be the glory. We can continue. We got to exit right now, but we'll stay tuned for another good conversation next week.
Good night, all. Good night.
Okay, see y'all next week, Laura. I'm gonna make sure they get the link. I got two people who are gonna join us.
Very good. Good night, guys.
So,
All right, y'all stay safe.
Your son want the business that he can inherit. Why doesn't he want it?
Call Rabia.
Because his interests are elsewhere. He's not interested in fashion. He's interested in wireless technology.
That's what's
Even
up.
better. Sell all the
Long money. Long money. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye.